The US House of Representatives has voted to approve a bipartisan bill to suspend the government's $31 trillion debt ceiling just 5 days before the deadline to avoid a default. North America correspondent Carrington Clark joins us now from Washington with more. Hi, Carrington. Talk us through this vote. Was it as close as expected?
Yes and no. So overwhelmingly, this bill has been passed. That was by 314 votes in favour, 117 against. But what is more interesting is the split among the parties. Now, the House of Representatives here in the United States is controlled by the Republicans. So they're the opposite party to the President, Joe Biden. And this was a deal that had been worked out between the Republican Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, and Joe Biden effectively. Now, within the Republican Party, there is a clear split. Kevin McCarthy was only able to marshal 149 members to vote in favour of this proposal. So 71 of his members voted against it. Now, despite the fact the Republicans control the House of Representatives, they're the majority party, on this occasion, the Democrats actually voted for this proposal in greater numbers than the Republicans, 165 Democrats voting in favour. This is not a great look for Kevin McCarthy because Kevin McCarthy has already been facing questions from his right flank that he gave up too much to get a deal with Joe Biden. And the fact that it has been Democrats that have gotten this vote across the line is going to be a difficult optical situation for Kevin McCarthy as he fights to make the argument that this was a good deal for Republicans and that Joe Biden had given more territory than he had.
So, Carrington, what are the risks if the deal doesn't go through the Senate by the June 5 deadline?
Yeah, so this was kind of a two-step process. The House of Representatives was seen as the bigger hurdle to raise the debt ceiling because the Republicans control the House of Representatives. So this is all an argument about raising the debt ceiling, which is a limit placed on the US government on how much it can borrow. It's already up to that limit. And so this June 5th date was given by the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, and she thought by June the 5th, the US government would not have enough cash to pay all the bills that were coming due. So this is the deadline we're working to. The House of Representatives has now agreed to raise that debt ceiling effectively for 2 years. It now goes to the Senate. Now, the Senate is controlled by the Democrats, but the rules are slightly different in the Senate, and actually any individual senator could potentially derail this process, at least derail it in the short term, and all they have is the short term right now. They literally have just a matter of days to get this passed. So although this was seen as the bigger hurdle, getting it through the House of Representatives, we are not out of the woods yet, and it is still possible that any individual senator could derail this process, and we've already been warned by the Treasury Secretary that such a derailment, not getting the debt ceiling raised in time for this June 5th deadline, could be economically catastrophic, not only for the US, but for the globe, given that the United States is obviously the most important economy in the world. So we've gotten through one challenge, but there is still the challenge of getting it through the Senate, so we wait to see how that will play out.
OK, Carrington, thank you.